Okay, so you want to own an auto repair shop. Every day, millions of Americans hand over their car keys with a knot in their stomach. A strange rattling sound under the hood quickly transforms into a $1,200 invoice. Yet while most independent repair shop owners fight to stay solvent, a select group of operators quietly builds multi-million-dollar local empires. The money is flowing. But where does it actually go? You picture yourself stepping onto the garage floor as your own boss, turning wrenches on your own terms, and watching the profits pile up from a steady line of paying customers. It looks like a bulletproof way to build long-term wealth in a service that every driver needs. Sounds simple. It is not simple.
Meet Mike. At 42 years old, after 15 years working as a master technician on someone else's payroll, Mike signed a $400,000 bank loan to open his own 5-bay shop. He risked his family's life savings because he wanted control over his schedule and true financial security for his wife and 2 kids. But what nobody tells you before you sign the lease is that you are not actually running an auto repair garage. You are managing a high-stakes logistics hub with a specialized labor brokerage attached to it. Most first-time buyers think they are buying a garage. What they are actually buying is a hyper-optimized machine where every empty hour quietly destroys their profit. How much capital does it really take to open those bay doors? If you start with a tiny 3-bay neighborhood shop, your initial setup costs will breach $120,000 before you know it. Your building lease deposit takes $15,000 right away. Commercial diagnostic equipment and heavy vehicle lifts burn through another $85,000. That gets your foot in the door, but it only allows you to handle basic oil changes and simple brake jobs. When you step up to a modern 8-bay facility, the financial scale turns brutal. An advanced alignment rack, commercial diagnostic ecosystems, and fluid delivery systems easily swallow $200,000. As Mike signed the purchase orders for those diagnostic rigs, his hands shook, knowing that converting a standard commercial warehouse into an operational garage required another $180,000 in high-voltage electrical rewiring and exhaust ventilation before his first customer even pulled into the lot. Then you have to stock your parts room. Initial inventory from wholesale distributors like Napa Auto Parts and Worldpac adds another $45,000 to your starting ledger. By the time your modern 8-bay facility is ready for business, your total setup bill reaches $600,000. As Mike wrote check after check during his setup phase, his chest tightened. Every signature chipped away at his remaining cash reserves. First-time operators often try to cut costs by buying used machinery online, but an uncalibrated used hydraulic lift can fail a state safety inspection, forcing an emergency replacement that costs $14,000 on the spot. Mike learned that hard lesson early, watching his cash buffer shrink before he ever turned a single wrench. Who stands between you and your first dollar of revenue? Before Mike could earn his first dollar of revenue, his bank account began bleeding $12,000 a month in dead lease payments for an empty building with 0 cars on his racks. Why? Because opening day was locked behind a maze of government regulations. The Environmental Protection Agency watches your garage like a hawk. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration can drop in unannounced, and in states like California, the Bureau of Automotive Repair holds complete power over your operating license. You must secure an EPA Hazardous Waste Generator Identification Number, a specialized motor vehicle repair license, and strict environmental permits for your solvent tanks. The real problem is hiding somewhere completely different. The underground infrastructure trap. Local building codes require an industrial waste containment system built directly under your shop floor. You must install a concrete triple-stage oil-water separator to prevent chemicals from leaking into municipal water lines. Digging up the concrete slab and installing this separator costs $35,000 before inspectors will even let you turn on the lights. If you try to bypass this rule, local inspectors will slap you with $10,000 daily fines and padlock your front gate. Mike spent 2 long months trapped in this regulatory waiting game, while his cash reserves slowly drained away. So where does the money actually come from? Sitting at his front counter late on a Tuesday night, staring at an $800 customer invoice on his screen, Mike realized where his real survival lived. It was not the $3,000 engine overhauls everyone talks about. Revenue flowed through 5 distinct financial layers. On paper, that $800 ticket looks like a massive payday, but when Mike breaks down where every single dollar goes, you see how the revenue engine really works. The first layer is flat-rate billed labor. You do not bill customers by the actual minutes your technician spends working. You bill them using standard published job times from industry databases like Mitchell 1 or AllData. If the database states that an alternator replacement takes 3 hours, you charge the customer 3 hours at your posted shop rate of $160. That creates a $480 labor line item. If a skilled mechanic finishes that job in 90 minutes, you still keep the full $480. Billed labor carries an incredible 75% gross margin after accounting for technician wages and basic benefits. The second layer is auto parts retail markup. You buy components wholesale from major distributors like O'Reilly Auto Parts or Napa Auto Parts and apply a structured pricing matrix. A brake rotor bought wholesale for $35 gets sold to the vehicle owner for $70. Wholesale parts carry a gross margin of 40%, making them far less profitable than skilled billable labor hours. The third layer is diagnostic fees. You charge a flat $150 fee just to connect advanced diagnostic tablets from brands like Snap-on or Autel, run system scans, and identify an electrical glitch. Scanning further down Mike's screen reveals the fourth layer, preventative maintenance packages. High-speed services like transmission flushes and cooling system drains take 20 minutes of rack time and generate $250 while consuming just $30 in raw fluid, making fast maintenance high-margin gold. Finally, line item 5 adds a quiet 4% surcharge for shop supplies and hazardous waste disposal, ensuring that every rag, solvent spray, and recycled gallon of oil pays for itself. Standing behind his counter, Mike realized his revenue model in one simple sentence: billed labor hours multiplied by parts matrix markup minus unbilled technician downtime equals your survival. How does a business with full parking lots still end up weeks away from bankruptcy? The answer lies in the relentless operational bleed that eats your margins every single day. Your largest single expense is skilled human talent. Master technicians are extraordinarily hard to find. To keep a top mechanic from walking across the street to a competitor, you must pay them $60 an hour, plus monthly efficiency bonuses. You might even have to offer a $5,000 signing bonus just to recruit them. Your fixed overhead never stops running. Commercial liability insurance policies burn $18,000 every year. Essential software licenses for AllData, Mitchell 1, and Identifix cost $1,200 every single month, whether you fix cars or not. An empty bay costs $120 in dead weight loss every afternoon a master technician calls in sick. Multiply that across 2 sick days and 3 unbilled diagnostic hours, and Mike quietly bleeds $1,100 in high-margin labor profit in a single week, wiping out the net earnings of his last 40 oil changes. Then comes the human conflict that keeps Mike awake at night. It's Friday afternoon, and Mike's lead technician installs a water pump incorrectly on a customer's truck. On Monday morning, that truck arrives on the back of a tow truck with a ruined engine. Under industry warranty standards, Mike has to fix the damage for free. A single severe engine comeback costs $5,000 in unbillable labor and replacement parts directly out of Mike's pocket. This brings us to the structural trap that destroys naive shop owners, the flat rate efficiency paradox. Your entire business depends on master technicians completing jobs faster than book time. If your lead technician quits on short notice, your overall shop capacity instantly drops by 50%, but your $15,000 monthly rent check stays exactly the same. You might think hiring junior mechanics is a quick way to replace lost master techs, but this is where the math completely changes.
A rookie mechanic takes 3 hours to complete a 1-hour brake job. That drops your shop efficiency score to 45% and burns $300 a day in lost bay capacity. If you've ever received an unexpected $500 repair bill and wondered how that math was calculated, drop a comment below and hit subscribe to join our business deep dives. There is a way around this efficiency trap. Almost nobody finds it in time. Standing behind his counter, Mike realized his biggest hurdle was not diagnosing broken alternators. It was overcoming the deep-seated skepticism of drivers who assumed every mechanic was trying to rip them off.
40 years earlier, one entrepreneur built a multi-hundred-million-dollar empire by solving that exact crisis of trust. Back in 1982, Mark Carr opened his first repair garage in Mission Bend, Texas. He realized that most drivers despised traditional auto repair shops. Customers hated dark waiting rooms, dirty grease stains, and aggressive sales pitches. Carr decided to redesign the experience completely. He built clean, bright facilities with living room furniture, free refreshments, and complimentary shuttle rides to work. His true strategic breakthrough was a unique franchise partnership model. Instead of operating every store corporate style, Carr bought the real estate and built the facilities himself. He then partnered with local franchise owners who managed daily shop operations and split store profits. By the year 2020, Christian Brothers Automotive expanded to over 220 locations across America, with top facilities averaging over $2 million in annual gross revenue. Carr proved that building radical customer trust eliminated friction, taking the fear out of vehicle maintenance and keeping service bays full. While Mike fought to survive month to month, an industry titan with thousands of locations made a fatal error that destroyed their business model. In 1921, 3 Navy veterans opened a small auto supply store in Philadelphia. Manny, Mo, and Jack created Pep Boys, growing to over 800 locations nationwide. Their business structure relied on combining giant retail auto parts stores with service garages in massive supercenters. By 2015, corporate debts swelled past $300 million. Imagine walking down an aisle in a massive supercenter, fluorescent lights buzzing over dusty air filters, while 3 cashiers sit at empty registers, watching money burn. In the back bays, certified mechanics sat on toolboxes waiting for parts, while store floors stayed empty and rent kept running on thousands of square feet of retail space. In 2016, billionaire investor Carl Icahn acquired the struggling titan for $1 billion. Icahn realized what corporate executives missed for a decade. Shoppers were not coming back to the retail aisles. He shut down the retail storefronts, liquidated the inventory, and sold off the remaining service space to Mavis Discount Tire for $700 million, officially ending the era of the mega retail garage. At 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, sitting alone in his quiet office with a cold cup of coffee, Mike opened a spreadsheet to model his shop's future. What landed on his screen was a tale of 2 completely different businesses operating under the exact same roof. Imagine a split-screen dashboard on your screen right now. Both scenarios assume an optimized, top-tier operator benchmark versus a struggling average shop, with both charging $160 an hour for labor and operating 250 days a year. In scenario A, Mike's mechanics operate at 120% efficiency. They produce 8,000 billed labor hours over the year, generating about $1.28 million in labor revenue, displayed as $1,280,000 on screen. Parts sales add $960,000, bringing total shop revenue to $2,240,000. Direct costs take $928,000, leaving a gross profit of $1,312,000. Fixed operating expenses consume $360,000. Mike walks away with $952,000 in net profit. In scenario B, technician turnover strikes. Mike loses one master tech and another underperforms. Efficiency plummets to 70%, producing only 4,660 billed hours. Labor revenue drops to $745,600, while parts revenue falls to $450,000. Total revenue drops to about $1.19 million, displayed as $1,195,600 on screen. Direct costs swallow $680,000, leaving $515,600 in gross profit. Fixed operating expenses stay at $360,000. Add $45,000 in warranty comebacks and $35,000 in loan interest, and net profit collapses to $75,600. After Mike takes a modest owner salary, his shop operates at a loss. Mike looked at the spreadsheet late at night, feeling the cold weight of those numbers. The difference between a great year and a disastrous year is $876,000. So, how do elite operators avoid scenario B and build lasting wealth? They follow 4 specific playbooks. First, they automate their pricing using specialized parts matrix software. These systems ensure every fluid, bolt, and filter carries an optimal profit margin automatically, removing human emotion from pricing. Second, they deploy digital vehicle inspections. Mechanics use mobile tablets to take high-resolution photos and videos of worn brake pads or leaking gaskets. They text the complete visual report directly to the customer's phone. Seeing clear visual evidence increases average repair order values by 35% instantly. Third, elite shops lock in steady fleet management contracts. They service local delivery vans, police cruisers, and contractor trucks. These commercial accounts keep bays full on quiet weekday mornings, securing baseline revenue to cover fixed rent. Fourth, they realign service advisor compensation. Advisors earn performance bonuses based on gross profit dollars rather than raw sales volume. This prevents advisors from discounting billable labor hours just to close a quick sale. 6 months after opening his doors, standing on the garage floor at 6 in the morning, Mike finally understood the truth. He looked past the hydraulic lifts and diagnostic tools at the cars waiting in the bays. Owning a shop was never about turning wrenches or replacing transmissions. Mechanics do not make their fortune on grease and steel. Cars are merely the product passing through the facility. The greatest owners are not mechanics who happen to run businesses. They are business operators who happen to fix cars. Because the moment those doors open, you are no longer selling repairs. You are selling trust, time, and efficiency. If you master the machine behind the bay doors, those lifts will generate generational wealth for decades. If you ignore the unit economics, the daily cost of open doors will quietly shut them forever.